we looking at Jokic as a top 5 player in the game? A lot of people don't, just because he hadn't had success once we got to the postseason. This guy ain't got out of the second round since he started winning MVPs.
I've never seen a disconnect like this where a guy monopolizes the MVP, and yet he floats in and out of my top 5 at like 5.
Yeah.
He's not in almost anyone's top 3. I've never seen anything like it.
Yeah, it's wild.
And by the way, I think that's why we're likely about to have a 3-time MVP. That is the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen in the league.
For the past 3 years, the NBA media has had a huge hate boner for Nikola Jokic. Over that time period, they've criticized his MVP awards, suggested that he's not even a top 5 player, and made plenty of other ridiculous statements about him. And they used his lack of playoff success since the Orlando bubble to justify these ludicrous statements. But with Nikola Jokic now an NBA champion, the NBA media has gotten completely exposed. Joel Embiid, who the media decided was this year's MVP, lost in the second round for the 3rd straight year in a row. And in the Game 7 defeat to the Celtics, Embiid scored a whopping 15 points on just 5 of 18 shooting, while Philly was blown out. Giannis, who was 3rd in MVP voting this year, also suffered a disappointing playoff exit, losing in the first round to the Miami Heat in just 5 games. While the other 2 top MVP candidates suffered early playoff exits, Jokic won the championship and finals MVP, and did it in dominant fashion, with the Nuggets not going to Game 7 in any of their playoff series and going 16-4 overall throughout this title run. Max Kellerman's claim that Jokic is barely a top 5 player has proven to be absurd, because the way he played throughout this championship run, there should be no doubt that he's the best player in the world. And Jokic not only dominated from a team perspective, but he just had one of the best individual playoff runs in the entire history of the league. Throughout these playoffs, Jokic averaged an incredible 30 points, 13 boards, and 9 assists on 55% shooting, becoming the first player ever to lead all players in total points, rebounds, and assists in a postseason. How does Jokic, a player with below average NBA level athleticism, dominate at such an otherworldly level? Put simply, Jokic is the most unguardable player in the league. Not Durant, not Giannis, but it's Jokic who's the league's toughest cover. For starters, Jokic is an unstoppable force in the post. Thanks to his size and strength at 280 pounds, no defender in the league can stop Jokic from backing them down on the block and getting favorable position. And Jokic has fantastic touch from around the basket inside the paint. Only Giannis averaged more points in the paint over the 2023 playoffs. Jokic is not only a great scorer from the inside, but also from the perimeter. In the playoffs, Jokic shot an unreal 46% from downtown. And because he's such a deadly 3-point shooter, Jokic can regularly use the threat of his outside shot with the pump fake to blow by defenders and get to the rim. His elite scoring is tough enough, but the Joker's incredible passing makes him even harder to guard. Jokic has great court vision and awesome chemistry with his teammates, allowing him to easily punish help defenders by setting his teammates up with easy baskets. His height and long arms allows him to easily see over the defense and find the open man. No matter how he's double teamed or trapped, Jokic almost always makes the right decision. For opposing defenses, this puts them in an impossible situation. Guard Jokic in single coverage and he'll score at high volume and high efficiency. Send help defenders and he'll find his open teammates, which also is extremely efficient offense. There's simply no containing Jokic. No matter how you defend him, he's going to make sure his team generates a high percentage look. All defenses can do is simply pick their poison. We also gotta talk about Jokic's defense. Throughout the finals, the Nuggets defended the Heat extremely well, holding them to under 100 points in each game besides for Game 2. And a huge part of that excellent defense was the Joker's rim protection. Despite not being known as a shot blocker, he averaged 1.4 blocks per game in the finals. And it wasn't just about getting blocks. His rim protection was excellent, regularly contesting and altering the shots of driving players. Jokic also closed off the passing lanes, finishing tied for the most deflections in the finals. And in the closeout game, Jokic shut down Bam Adebayo. Now, Bam looked dominant in the first half of Game 5, dropping 18 points, but he would score just 2 points in the second half of the game. And Bam stayed aggressive, but he simply couldn't score over the size of Jokic in the paint. Jokic is rarely praised for his defense, but he put on a defensive clinic in the finals, which was a huge part of the Nuggets beating Miami and winning the championship. Overall, Nikola Jokic has proven his haters dead wrong. In just his 8th year, Jokic is clearly already an all-time great, and if he was to retire today, he's going into the Hall of Fame. But as great as what Jokic and the Nuggets have done this year, I think they're just scratching the surface. I think this team has the potential to be a dynasty because the core of this Nuggets team is very young. Jokic, Aaron Gordon, Jamal Murray, and Michael Porter Jr. are all in their early to mid-20s, which means that the Nuggets have a chance to contend for championships for the next decade and win multiple championships. And if Jokic could finish his career with 3 or more rings, I think he'll go down as a top 15 player of all time, maybe even top 10. But anyway, that's going to be it from me, guys. Now I want to hear from y'all. What do you think of the Denver Nuggets and Nikola Jokic winning the championship this year? Tell me in the comments. Guys, if you enjoyed this video and you want to see more dope content just like it, drop a like on the video and hit that subscribe button. For a much deeper analysis on why I think the Denver Nuggets are going to become a dynasty, click this video right here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next video.